Hello there, welcome to the window. My name is Amy and today is the last day of 2015. It is the 31st of December and I don't know where the year went. I don't know what I managed to accomplish, but I did accomplish a lot of reading. I read a total of 54 books and today I'm going to show you 10 books that I thought were my favourite. Now these books aren't necessarily the books that I rated the highest. I think they're just the books that really I could not stop thinking about it, and when I sat down to write my list, these are the ones that came to mind. And this could be for a variety of reasons, whether just the characters really gripped me, or I loved the story, or I just thought the concept was really cool, but whatever it was, these are the books that I was like, yeah, I would definitely recommend those to anyone. These are in no particular order, and the first one is The Incredible Adventures of Cinnamon Girl by Marissa Keil. This book is about a girl called Alba who lives in a small rural Australian town. Now, there's nothing remarkable about her town. She's just dealing with, you know, the end of school and whether to move away to go to university, and she's dealing with friendships breaking up and things like that. But, strangely enough, a doomsday predictor says that her town is going to be the location of the end of the world, and so everyone just flocks there at the end of the year, and it's her dealing with all that craziness along with just the general craziness of the end of your schooling years. The romance in it was not over the top. It was really sweet and beautiful, and I love the character of Alba. She looks a bit more like me, that's what I'm trying to say. I love it. Read it. The next book that I just could not stop thinking about for some reason is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Now this is the first book that I've read by Sarah J. Maas and I absolutely loved it, and that is what made me want to pick up the Throne of Glass series, and it's really good. It's good. It's good. Just read it. Just read it. I should probably tell you what it's about though. It is about a girl called Farah whose family has fallen from a position of privilege to pretty much nothing, and she hunts for her family to feed them. One day she hunts down a wolf which turns out to be a fairy from above, like this invisible wall, and above that is like this fairyland, and there is a fairy who is very much attached to the fairy she killed, and he comes across the border to claim her instead of killing her as a payment for that fairy's death. It's also a slight Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I really enjoyed because I love Beauty and the Beast. The next book is one I do not have to show you because I read it on Pulse It, and that was Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. This is about a girl called Amy who has just lost her father, and she's finished out the school year at home by herself, and because her mother has travelled to her new house across the country. But the problem is Amy needs to get across the country to live in her new house, but they also have the car that belonged to her father. And the problem with that is Amy doesn't want to drive after the death of her father. So a boy that she grew up with, sort of playing with a little bit when she was younger, offers to drive her there because his father lives on that side of the country, and they embark on that journey, and things don't necessarily go to the plan that her mother set out for them. Most of the book is just Amy and Roger, and I really enjoyed the friendship that developed between them and how they shared bits about their lives and just how they grew throughout that journey. It was really beautiful, and I don't remember how, I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but I think it definitely deserves 5 out of 5 stars. I just cannot stop thinking about Amy and Roger. The next book is one that I also can't show you because I borrowed it from my local library, and that was The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I loved this book. Someone explained it to me really well, and they just said it's weird, but it's great. And that is the absolute truth. I loved The Raven Boys. They're so cute, and some of them are grumpy, and they're quiet, and I love every single one of them, and Blue is just a great protagonist. I love those characters so much. Blue has been told by her mother, who is a psychic, and her mother's friends, who are also psychics, who live with her for her whole life. She will kill her true love by kissing them. One night she goes so that her aunt can watch the soon-to-be dead progress through a graveyard, and usually Blue can't see these ghosts because she's not a psychic. But on this night, sees one ghost, and she was told that the reason she saw him is that he's either her true love or she kills him. And that concept just had me hooked, and then I read it, and Maggie Stiefvater's writing is just beautiful. It is so gorgeous, and just sort of, sometimes I had to stop and think about what she'd just written because it was that beautiful, and I had to take that in and savor it because it's just, it's so beautiful. The next book is actually a series of books, and that is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. Now, I've literally read all of Cassandra Clare's books in the Shadowhunters world this year alone. In this 1 year, it was a lot of Cassandra Clare to like process. I would say probably Clockwork Princess was my absolute favourite of all of them. I love the characters in this one. I love how they grow, and I loved the situations they were put in. I just could not stop reading this one, and I think I prefer the Infernal Devices over the Mortal Instruments, but it was all good. It was all good. If you haven't read a Cassie Clare book, go do it. Especially the Infernal Devices trilogy. The next book is also a book series, and that is the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. Cress was my favourite of all three. I have not yet had the chance to read Fairest or Winter, but I'm so excited to read those in 2016. But this series has a massive, wonderful, hilarious, vivacious cast of characters. They're basically fairy tale, sci-fi, futuristic, dystopian retellings, and if that doesn't hook you on it, I mean, if you hate sci-fi, maybe you won't like these, but if you love fairy tale retellings, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I just love the characters in these, and the concept is so cool, and it's great. Just read it. You read it if you haven't already. The next book is a non-fiction book, and that is Love, Tanya by Tanya Burr. I really enjoy Tanya Burr's videos. I think she is just adorable and she's lovely, and I think most YouTuber books I'm sort of hesitant to read because I'm like, what does that have to do with their channel? But Tanya's book is pretty much her channel in greater detail in the written word in her book, and it just really translates her passions and her personality and the way she speaks through the book, and I just love that. I really appreciated it. It was very beautiful. The recipes in here are fantastic. She has a lot of great advice, and it was just really great to sort of learn more about where she came from and what her goals and thinking processes and stuff are. It was just a beautiful book. This next book I can't show you either because I borrowed it from the library, and that was Seconds by Bryan Lee O'Malley. Seconds is probably one of the first graphic novels I've ever read. I think it's probably the first proper, full-length, contained within one book graphic novel story that I've ever read, and it was so beautiful. The artwork is gorgeous. I love the storyline. It was creepy but adorable at the same time. I don't know how that managed, but it was cute. I loved it. Seconds is about a girl who wants to open up a restaurant because she's been living above and working in a restaurant that she was the head chef of, but she didn't own it, so she wanted one for herself. So she actually finds these mushrooms and these instructions to like write down your mistake, and then you eat the mushroom and then you fall asleep and you wake up and it'll be like it never happened, and it was really creepy, really adorable. I loved it. The second last book that I have to show you is also an Australian YA book, and that is The Guy, the Girl, the Artist and His Ex by Gabrielle Williams. This book is set in Australia in the 80s, I believe, which I've never really read in, and it's set in Melbourne, and it's just a great book. It's sort of like Love Actually. It's all these different characters and their stories intertwine, and it revolves around the theft of an important Picasso painting, and it was just really interesting, and I really liked it, and there was some really good cultural exploration in it as well. And the last book I'm going to have to go into really quickly because my battery is running out, and that is 10,000 Skies Above You by Claudia Gray. This is probably, although those weren't ranked, this one is my #1 book of the year. I loved it. I love the Firebird trilogy. It's amazing. If you're not sure what the Firebird trilogy is about, it is about a girl called Marguerite whose parents created this device called the Firebird, which enables the wearer to transport between parallel dimensions into the body of their other self in that dimension. You can only travel into the dimensions where you, as you are, exist. And if you're gonna read one book from all of these books that I've recommended to you this year, go pick up the Firebird series, because holy moly, Claudia Gray is amazing, and I love that there's so much potential for the different universes. It pretty much combines every genre. It has mystery, romance, historical fiction, sci-fi, fantasy. Pretty much everything you can think of is in this book because of the scope of the alternate dimensions. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you have an amazing 2016. Don't forget to tell me in the comments what your favorite book of 2015 was. And if you don't mind, like this video to let me know if you enjoyed it. It just helps me out so I know what sort of videos you guys want to see. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I post videos pretty much every week. I hope you have a lovely, lovely New Year's Eve or New Year's Day or whatever day it is in your country or where you are or when you're watching this video. I hope you're having a lovely day and happy reading. Bye!